My name is Brian LaPayower, and this is LaPayower Report, the fundamental talk show program where I conduct conversations with individuals who have unique skills and talents. The September 11 attacks, often referred as September 11, September 11th, or 9/11, in a combination with attacks side effects on that day, were a series of 4 coordinated suicide attacks by Al-Qaeda upon the United States on Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. On that morning, 19 Al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked 4 commercial passenger jet airlines. The hijackers intentionally crashed 2 of the airliners into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, killing everyone on board and thousands of those working in the buildings. Both towers collapsed within 2 hours, destroying nearby buildings and damaging others. A third airliner was crashed into the Pentagon. Hijackers had redirected the fourth plane towards Washington, D.C., targeting either the Capitol building or the White House, but it crashed into the field near Shanksville in rural Pennsylvania after passengers attempted to retake control of the airliner. There were no survivors from any of those flights. Nearly 3,000 victims and the 19 hijackers died in the attacks. Among the 2,753 victims who died in the attacks on the World Trade Center were 343 firefighters and 60 police officers from New York City and the Port Authority, and 8 private emergency medical technicians and paramedics. Another 184 people were killed in the attack on the Pentagon. The overwhelming majority of casualties were civilians, including nationals of over 70 countries. Suspicion fell quickly on the Al-Qaeda. Its leader, Osama bin Laden, initially denied involvement, but in 2004, he finally claimed responsibility for the attacks. Al-Qaeda and bin Laden cited U.S. support of Israel, the presence of U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia, and sanctions against Iraq as motives for the attacks. The United States responded to the attacks, launching the War on Terror, invading Afghanistan to depose the Taliban, who had harbored Al-Qaeda members, and by enacting the U.S. Patriot Act. It was not until May 2011 that bin Laden was found and killed. Many other countries also strengthened their anti-terrorism legislation and extended law enforcement powers. Some American stock exchanges stayed closed for the rest of the week following the attack and posted enormous losses on the reopening, especially in the airline and insurance industries. The destruction of billions of dollars worth of office space caused serious damage to the economy of Lower Manhattan. The damage to the Pentagon was cleared and repaired within a year, and the Pentagon Memorial was built adjacent to the building. The rebuilding of the World Trade Center site began in 2002 and remains ongoing. Ground was broken for the Flight 93 National Memorial on November 8, 2009, and the first phase of construction is expected to be ready for the 10th anniversary of the attacks on September 11, 2011. Guy Cormier, my returning guest from my last program, has came back to talk about his moments about that dreadful day that began at 8:45 in the morning of that Tuesday. Guy Cormier, welcome back to the program.
Okay, that's Guy K.
K.
Yeah,
Cormier.
But no problem.
Okay. Now tell me about when you woke up and heard the attacks. What was the first? What was going through your mind? What really happened?
Well, actually, before that all happened, I got up that day, and I decided to do maybe a half hour into an hour to work in my garden.
Mm-hmm. You had a garden?
I was in the garden competition for where I'm living in my apartment building.
Okay.
They have every year they have a gun competition.
Well, you're talking about like a weapon.
No,
Oh, okay, yeah. You're talking about a garden.
a garden.
A garden.
How did you get weapon from garden?
I thought you said I must have got my words confused, but you know, it is sad what happened on the day of September 11th.
Yes, yes, it
So
was.
going forward about this garden.
So what happened was, I decided.
We'll get to the facts, everybody.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll get to the facts of that, especially when you see the clip. Okay, and let me tell you, before I go on, I'm very honored to be on your show.
Thank you.
So I won an award for my garden
Okay.
that week. And on that day of 9/11, I was going to go up to celebrate. I was going to go up to the windows of the world to celebrate winning my award.
Okay.
So, so basically, as I was working my garden, I lost track of time.
Right.
And I saw a plane flying overhead over my apartment building.
Really?
Yes. And
I guess I heard a lot of people saw a plane.
Yeah. But this plane was one of the planes that struck the World Trade Center, because something was out of place. It was too low. It's like, for instance, if you were on the roof, you would be able to reach up and touch the plane. That's how low it was. I was able to see the people in the plane.
Really?
That's how low the plane was. So basically, you'll hear the same thing in the clip in a little while. So basically, my mom came running out and told me that the Twin Towers has been struck. And I rushed to put everything away. I went up and I looked. I watched about what happened all night long, because they had it on for 24 hours a day during that time period.
I remember that.
And I just I was in shock. If I would have went earlier, and if I didn't do my garden, basically doing my garden saved my life, because if I didn't do my garden, I would have went up to the windows of the world early before any of this happened. Been up there, and I wouldn't. Basically, I wouldn't be here today. I would have been one of the victims of that attack.
Okay. Now I remember my experience about September 11th. I was basically, sleeping. My father knocked on the door. He said that one of the Twin Towers was attacked. I was like, what? So I turned over my television, and I was like, I was like shocked to see that they repeated the first tower number 2 was attacked first that memorable morning. I was originally slated to go to work the following afternoon. And instead, I got to my job about 1 o'clock, and like almost to my time shift, and they told me to just head back home. They'll cover the day shift. I didn't work at least the following day after on September 12th.
Right, and what was your? Well, here I am. I'm interviewing him.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I'll take over for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What do you want to ask me?
What was your most horrific thought? Like as you were just telling me now, there has to be some deeper emotions. What can you tell the audience about the most inner feelings during and after the attack?
I was just such a shocked to see. I mean, no one really had any idea, like where to. I mean, it was our own airlines. That's number one fact. We didn't even know who was in control of the airplane. We didn't have any idea. And I remember watching on the news later on, they actually showed scenes from overseas in the southern, Middle Eastern region. People were cheering and celebrating. I'm like, was this? I mean, I didn't have any physical idea why. Now, now, that's how I really felt. It's like it's sad. There's a lot of mixed emotions. Now, God, let me answer this question. What I read to the viewers just before. What did you feel about all those words I
believe it's very powerful from what you read. It was very powerful during the ordeal that the passengers on Flight 93
Right.
went through. They sacrificed their own lives to save the lives of people on the ground.
Right.
Now that takes a very special kind of person
It actually does.
to
You're right.
the one word I have to say, that's patriotic. They might not have been in the military. They weren't trained, but they knew what they had to do.
Right.
That had to be done to stop Al Qaeda from taking any more American lives.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I believe I have a clip of two of my poems that I didn't.
No, I've actually. You told me about this. I did slightly see him a bit, but I just want to basically, see with my own eyes once again. Do we have that clip available, please? Okay.
Asking people from all walks of life how 9/11 affected them, and asking them for submissions. When I saw that in the paper, I said, "What a wonderful thing it is!" And I say, I said to myself, I can't pass up this opportunity, and and I wrote a poem named 9/11 Rescue, and the way I got the inspiration for it. Was when I was working in my garden on the day of 9/11. I found out that I won an award for my garden.
Wow.
So on that day, I was going to go up to the windows of the world to celebrate.
Really?
So I was going to work in my garden for just a little bit, and then go upstairs, shower, get ready, and head on up there.
Wow.
And somehow I must have lost track of time. Then all of a sudden, I saw the plane flying overhead, and I noticed it was way too low. It was just low enough where I could see the people inside.
Wow.
That's how low it was. And then I went back. I didn't think nothing of it, but I thought at first it was like a little suspicious. Like a plane never flies that low. So
Not that big.
And not that big either. So my mom came running out, and. My mom told me that the Twin Towers has been struck. So I went up, I put everything away, I went up, and I was watching the news the whole day for the next week or two, because it was a really big story. So then 6 months later, I went up to the city to finally receive my award. And I said to myself, since I'm here, I'm going to go visit Ground Zero. By the time I got to the South Street Seaport, to get a ticket to go see Ground Zero. It was too late for me to go, so the very next day I came back, and I went to Ground Zero. And when I saw it, it actually broke my heart. I was in tears. I saw flags. I saw pictures of family members who passed or who are missing, and I even signed my name onto the American flag, like all the rest of New York was. And I saw this a sister and brother from Minnesota, and I helped them, and by helping them, and even though that New York City and our country were going through a lot that day, and so after I helped them, I went to get myself lunch. I went to Liberty Park, and I just sat there and pondered what I've seen, and that's when I was inspired to write my poem.
Can you read it for us?
Yes, I would. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my poem, 9/11 Rescue. Firefighters, policemen to the rescue. People in danger, smoke debris flying about. Firefighters, policemen alike, fighting danger is their job. To the heroes who care, running into danger is their thing. People cheering them on with love and praise, for they are heroes of our time, who see what they have to do above and beyond their capabilities and abilities. They stay the course of history, to save and to protect, to fight the dangers. Firefighters and policemen alike are here and forevermore our heroes. Thank you for all you have done for all New Yorkers and for our wonderful country. God bless you all.
It's beautiful, very beautiful.
9/11, a day that we will never forget, a day that changed America and the world forever, a day that tore and seared our souls of pain and sorrow. Out of tragedy, we as Americans have pulled together to stand up for our freedom, to show the world America's heart and diversity. Through thick and thin, we will be there for freedom and democracy, and to protect the free and the land of the brave. And we must never forget those who gave their lives, from police to the firefighters, and to our troops who gave of themselves so that we may live, and to remember our loved ones that lost their lives on that terrible day. God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay. That was a very well done piece.
Thank you. I wrote both poems, and I had Lauren Ellis from the Arts for Healing, New York City, and the book that you saw, my poem wound up in the book. So now it's
What's the name of this book?
9/11, the days after, I believe.
Is it available in bookstores?
It's available in bookstores. I believe
Okay.
maybe the library will have, because it's out now.
Okay.
And I decided to invite Arts for Healing for New York City to come on my show to do a tribute to the families and the heroes who lost their lives on that day. So I did interview her and that, and they provided me with material, and I would edit it all together. And I wanted to do something poignant. I wanted to do something that would tug at your heart. And that's where I wrote that second poem. And that's where, when you see that child in between the Twin Towers, it was basically what that was saying is from yesteryear, where life was carefree, and you have to, in the days we didn't have to worry about terrorism. And by putting the image of the child in between the Twin Towers, it just reminds you of the year of yesterday and what happened now, of that image that our dream has been destroyed, taken away from us.
Right.
But it also says that we as Americans, we come back stronger and better through the diversity, and that's why I wrote that poem.
Okay. Now, I noticed in the pictures, I noticed that one of them I did not see is the three firemen. It was like similar to World War II, the Iwo Jima, except it was our version of the September 11 attacks.
Yes, yes. That was taken by, I believe, a professional photographer who, where it caught his eye,
Right.
and I guess in my own interpretation, it looked like the statue on the day of Iwo Jima, when all the soldiers will be leaning over and holding the American flag, and that's very poignant.
Right.
That many people don't realize now that 9/11 has become part of U.S. history's
Right.
history,
Correct.
and it's one of the worst memories that a person could relive next to World War I and World War II, the Vietnam War.
Right.
And basically, this is a war of emotions that we have to face and we have to live with. And our lives do go on. And the people who died that day as well are heroes. To watch something like that on television was very breaking, and you just couldn't like take your eyes off because you were shocked when I believe all the major networks showed. And I know this is in a way a touchy subject, but when they showed the people actually falling, that was the hardest to see.
I remember that day. I remember a person actually just they had someone set up a video camera. They were over right by Battery Park City, if I'm correct, and they set up a camera and they saw people falling down without any harness, without any safety net. I mean, this was a very gruesome day. Now let me ask something. Now after the attacks, did you went the next day over to Manhattan, or was it like sometime afterwards?
Well, I'll get on with that in a moment. I believe that from reading the paper, I believe that the people who made the decision to jump, they would, in other words, they would rather jump. They would rather have be in control of their own lives.
Right.
They feel that it's better for them to be in power and take their own lives than to let a terrorist take their lives, instead of being burnt alive and dying that way. So, and it must have been horrific, and it must have been a very tough decision for them to do that.
Right.
But regardless, they are heroes. Now, getting to your question, and I just wanted to say my heart goes out to the families,
Definitely.
and to the firefighters, and to the police officers, and to Father Judd's family. My heart goes out to you. I love you all, and I really feel for you, and we'll never forget. And getting to your question, I went up to Manhattan about 6 months later.
Okay.
Okay, just about 6 months later, when I finally went up to the Arts and Science on around 28th and past 8th Avenue.
Okay.
To receive my award. So after I went and I received my award, I went on my way home. I decided to stop at the South Street Seaport to see about getting a ticket to see Ground Zero. But it was too late to do it that day, so I came back the next day, and I went. I brought my camera because I wanted to document and hold those pictures, so I will never forget what happened on that day. Because the way things go is that if you forget your history, you tend to repeat that history again.
Right.
So, I went back the next day, and I saw Ground Zero. I saw the statues they had right here, and they had a ram, and there were a lot of people. They had a flag. Everybody was signing their name. I was on the flag. I was one of them.
You signed your name on it?
I signed my name on the American flag.
That's beautiful.
And I saw, like you saw on the clip, that the two brother and sister was there. They didn't know where they were going or anything, and I helped them and told them where they could go and how to get there and whatnot. And so then I went, then after I helped them, they talked and they apologized to me. They really felt my pain and felt New Yorkers' pain. And so I went back, then I left, I went to the park, sat down, just gathered my thoughts of what I've seen and the pictures I took. And that's when the idea for the poem came about.
Right.
But then again, I bumped into the brother and sister again at the Staten Island Ferry.
Okay.
So I decided, we talked more, and I decided to keep them company for the ride over. And they were asking me different questions and all that. Both of them are teachers, and show them how to get back around to go back on to the ferry. And then I just went home from there.
Okay. Now that I read that back in May, the United States Navy, correct? Was the Navy?
I believe so.
No, sorry, it was the United States Marines.
The
Marines. They
Marines.
actually got, they got Bin Laden, but he didn't want to surrender. So instead, the Marines did their job, and
I believe it was the Special Forces 6.
the Special Forces, right?
And and that they got Bin Laden, and the good thing they did because they finally caught the piece of
Okay.
doo-doo, in other words.
Yes.
Well, I'm keeping it clean, so you don't have to worry.
Okay. We want to be, we are a family-oriented program, actually.
Yeah, well, everybody knows what I mean when I say doo-doo.
Yes, of course. Now, just to summarize real quickly, do you think that our country, after this all's over, will get better? By any chance?
Well, the way the economy is now, I don't see this country getting better anytime soon. The politicians gonna have to get off their butts and start helping their own people here instead of helping foreign countries with their problems. We got to the old saying goes, charity begins at home.
Correct.
When they start taking care of their people, I think then that's and create more jobs. I think that's the only way this country will be able to get back on its feet.
Okay. Because that's the thing. But we in the United States, we should be taking care of ourselves, then worry about everything else. But sometimes these things, just don't go that way, and they shouldn't.
No,
It
doesn't.
not at all. No. Okay.
Yeah, I think time's about to get us.
I think so too. This again, guy, just to elaborate, is how can anyone contact you?
Well, if anybody would like to contact me, they can get in contact with me, geekc2000@yahoo.com.
Okay.
And if most people would would probably wonder, why would I have an email like that? Well, to explain to everybody, GEE, Guy is guy in French,
Yes.
then KC and 2000@yahoo.com. I just use my name for my email.
Or as they say in the French, merci beaucoup.
Oui.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Once again, my name is Brian LaPayower, and this was LaPayower Report. Take care. Bye.